Hey everyone, my name's Leo and welcome to my channel. I'm a Cambridge University student who makes videos on university and productivity, and in today's video I'll be giving a quick breakdown of all the typical costs of studying at Cambridge University and the different sources of funding available to help you finance your studies. Timestamps for each part of the video are on the screen now if you'd like to skip to any particular part. Otherwise, without further ado, let's hop into it. So firstly, let's break down each of the things you can expect to be paying as a student at Cambridge University. Just a disclaimer, I myself am classified as a home student, which basically means that the fees I have to pay will be quite a bit lower than that of international students. And the number of funding sources available to home students does also tend to be greater. So that's what I'll be basing the majority of this video off of. That being said, living costs and things like that do remain mostly the same regardless of your fee status. Anyways, the most important and biggest cost of studying at Cambridge University is of course the tuition fees you have to pay. Unlike some other countries, you do have to pay to go to university in England, and Cambridge is no different. The government sets the undergraduate tuition fees for home students every year, usually increasing them a bit every few years based off inflation rates and other factors. The annual fee is actually the same at every university in the country, being capped at £9,250 for the 2022-23 academic year. Postgraduate courses, on the other hand, can vary greatly in cost, but will almost always be more expensive than undergraduate degrees, with my master's course this year, for example, costing me £13,797 for its 1-year duration. The fee for international students can vary depending on the university and course, but typically you can expect to pay around 3 times the amount that home students have to pay. Outside of tuition fees, you'll also need to consider your living costs, which basically covers everything else outside of your tuition costs. Cambridge University themselves have actually provided helpful resources on their website, where they've estimated the expected living costs for both home and international students for the year 2023-24, which I'll link below. But essentially they recommend you allow approximately £11,020 for home students and £12,400 for international students per year, which is slightly higher off the assumption that you may need to stay in your accommodation over holiday periods and hence will have to pay slightly more rent. Speaking of rent, most colleges at Cambridge will be able to provide subsidised college accommodation to their students for the duration of their studies, ranging from £120 to £220 per week, depending on the college, room quality, and presence or absence of an ensuite bathroom. Note that higher year undergraduates and postgraduates will tend to be given preference when it comes to allocating higher quality rooms. Another thing to consider is that minimum accommodation contract lengths can range from 26 to 39 weeks, giving you the option to move out during the holidays if you wish to do so, which is actually not common for UK universities and does save you having to pay rent over the holidays if you plan on moving back home. Another consideration is going to be the cost of food, with most colleges providing both self-catering and catered facilities. Individual college meals will usually cost anywhere between £4 and £7, which is subsidised by the fact that you usually have to pay a kitchen fix charge ranging from £375 to £585 per year. Though in my case, I'll only have to pay £243 this year as I'm choosing not to live on site at my college. Colleges also run weekly 3-course formal dinners, which are not compulsory but are popular amongst students and will cost around £10 to £15 each depending on the college. Another popular college tradition is that of winter and May balls, which are lavish annual events which can cost anywhere between £100 and £250. As with all universities, clubs and societies are popular at Cambridge, and most will require an annual membership fee to help keep the club running, which can be anywhere between £5 for small clubs all the way to £200 or so for first team level sports clubs. Some courses may have additional costs which students will have to cover themselves, such as personal equipment, study materials and stationery, travel as well, and printing costs. All this seems to add up to large costs, and you may be wondering how exactly you're going to afford all of this. Well, one of the major sources of funding for home students studying in England is through student finance, a service provided by the Student Loans Company on behalf of the UK government. They offer loans covering up to the full tuition fee amount for undergraduates, and these are non-means tested, which means that you can get those regardless of your household income. Undergraduates also get access to a means-tested maintenance loan to help cover living costs, which could be up to £12,666 for 2022 to 2023, depending on where exactly you'll be living. For postgraduate students, they even offer a postgraduate master's loan, with £11,836 being the maximum amount in the 2022-23 academic year. Now, these are loans in the sense that you will have to eventually pay them back, and in this case you'll start paying back 9% of your income plus interest once you graduate and start earning money. Regardless, this is no doubt the most popular option for students in the UK who simply cannot afford to pay the regular fees upfront. Outside of government loans, you may still find yourself needing some extra money to cover the rest of your living expenses. Now, whilst not available to everyone like loans are, scholarships and bursaries are another potential option to help contribute to funding your studies. Unlike loans, scholarships and bursaries are usually one-off payments that don't need to be paid back, and as such are not particularly widespread. The difference between the two is that scholarships tend to be merit-based and highly competitive, and as a result look great on your CV if you are able to get one, whilst bursaries tend to be more means-tested and generally are open to only certain groups of students, usually underrepresented groups or those facing serious financial hardship. Just like every other university in the UK, Cambridge University offers many scholarships and bursaries which are advertised on their online search tool. The great thing about Cambridge is that outside of the university-wide funding, each college will also have their own funding sources available to prospective or current students at the college, greatly increasing the number of funding options you may have. I spoke about it a bit in my video on choosing colleges, but the amount of funding can often be a determining factor when people choose which college to apply to, so be sure to do your research properly. Scholarship requirements can vary greatly, with some only being open to certain subjects or being exclusive to undergraduates or postgraduates only, and aren't always just academic in nature, with plenty of sports and music awards available to attract the best talents from all disciplines. Many scholarships have their application deadlines early in the academic year, especially those targeted at international students, so make sure this is something you look into as soon as possible. Finally, it may be that you're looking into earning just that little bit of extra to treat yourself and your friends to something nice, or simply because you just want to start saving up more. As a result, many students across the country opt to pick up part-time jobs such as those in the hospitality and retail industry. Now, you may be disappointed to hear that Cambridge actually has quite strict rules about students working during term time, and for the most part they don't actually allow you to do it. This may sound harsh, but the truth is that the terms at Cambridge are very short and intense, only being 8-week long for undergraduates, which is a lot shorter than most other universities. They want you to focus on university life during those 8 weeks, but as a result, you get much longer holidays, and this is definitely the time you can start to pick up part-time work. Tutoring is probably one of the best jobs students can do, and as a Cambridge student, you will have no problem securing a tutoring job given the status and reputation of the university alone. Doing tour guiding and punting in the city of Cambridge is also actually a fairly popular and fun option, though perhaps not so much in the winter time. Regardless of whether you choose to work or not, always remember to try your best to keep a work-life balance and not overwhelm yourself with too many things at once. So that's all from me. I hope you found this short guide to costs and funding sources at Cambridge University useful. If you'd like to see more content like this, then please consider subscribing and liking this video. Bye for now.